Senator McCain never sugarcoated his opinions, and he had a reputation for being a bit cantankerous. But his admirers and critics alike will tell you the same thing. He always apologized when he was wrong. We don't always see that in Washington these days. Joining me now with more is the host of Media Buzz on Fox News Channel and author of Media Madness, Howard Kurtz. Howie, thanks for being here.
Congratulations on your world premiere here.
Thank you. It's no pressure, right? Kennedy office, high stilettos to fill. Howie, let's start with a broad review of the relationship between the Fourth Estate and John McCain. I remember a formative memory for me was the senator's 2000 presidential campaign, where he had that bus, the Straight Talk Express, which it granted extraordinary access to the press. Reflect, if you will, on the career of the late senator and his back and forth relationship with the media.
Back and forth is right. I first got to know John McCain well during that campaign. Spent days and days on that bus where he didn't have any money. He was down in the polls, so he would just talk to reporters between events, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Eventually, reporters would run out of questions, and he'd talk about sports and movies. So it got him a warm relationship because this was extraordinary. No presidential candidate had ever done this. It also meant that he made mistakes. Sometimes he paid a price for that. But it contrasted so sharply with the usual 5-minute availability, carefully choreographed, carefully scripted thing that most candidates do. At the same time, the press swooned over John McCain in that campaign because he was running against George W. Bush and the Republican establishment. Somewhat of a different picture in 2007 and 2008, when McCain was more of the establishment and Republican candidate himself, especially when he was running against Barack Obama. Of course, got tremendously favorable treatment from the press. And suddenly, there were all these stories about John McCain as a temper problem. Well, he did have a bad temper, but he was being described as, perhaps unstable, perhaps unhinged. Suddenly, a much darker picture being painted by the press that just a few short years earlier had been in a kind of a romance with the senator.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the criticisms that I've seen about the media and their coverage of McCain. And now, of course, they're paying all these tributes to him now that he's passed away, and rightly so. But conservatives, I think, are frustrated because of what you just said. When John McCain was bucking his party and being that maverick that was a thorn in the side of so many conservatives, there were glowing tributes, and his coverage was very, very positive. And then when the stakes were really high in 2008, standard bearer of the party, running against Barack Obama, press was brutal to him. And I think there's a double standard that some conservatives are calling out today. Is that fair?
Yeah, because I lived through it. I wrote about this at the time. Many in the press were very, very harsh on Senator McCain. And you see it again now in the Trump era. He became sort of a hero on the left and to many in the media as he became one of the most vociferous critics, first of candidate Trump, then President Trump, who, of course, also tangled with McCain during the campaign. These are two men who did not like each other very much. And so, look, John McCain, there's a lot of things you can't take away from him. War hero, denied early release even as an admiral's son. He made mistakes. He alienated many Republicans, particularly recently, and also in the Bush administration. He sometimes flagellated himself for those mistakes, called himself a coward and a liar for the way he punted on the Confederate flag issue when he was trying to win the South Carolina primary. So he was a man who inspired millions and who was beloved, as you saw, by many Democrats, by many liberals in the press. But he also was a man of flaws and mistakes, and I think that's part of the picture here as we remember John McCain.
Howie, you just mentioned President Trump, and it's been quite a saga just today with the flag at the White House. It was all the way up, then back to half-staff. A lot of criticism from the press and elsewhere. Some veteran groups were not happy. Was this the White House finally responding, or one could say caving to media pressure today?
I think there was media pressure. I think there was also a backlash from some veterans groups. And look, I mean, it would have been nice. The man just passed away. He's 81 years old. He had a year-long battle with brain cancer. If President Trump more quickly could have said, thanking him for his service to the country, keeping the flag at half-staff at the White House. Instead, to critics of the president, it looked like he was fighting one last battle with an opponent who was no longer there. But, to be sure, in the book that the senator published this year, he was very tough on Trump. In the statement that was read by his former campaign manager to be read after his death, he didn't mention Donald Trump, but he took some shots at him. So I don't know how much the country cares about all this maneuvering, but it is kind of a contrast, because this is the hyper-partisan politics with which we live now guy. John McCain was a guy who was friendly with Ted Kennedy, teamed up with Russ Feingold. He could work with liberals, even though he could be prickly. And by the way, he could be prickly to reporters, too, when we crossed him.
Yeah, and I think you're right to point out that the strained relationship between Trump and McCain was very much a two-way street. It wasn't just one direction. Howard Kurtz, Media Buzz. We'll see you on Sunday. Thanks for coming on tonight.